So the first part you just heard, how much of a con I am. Listen, these perps participate in this. I don't understand how. Like, I understand why they enjoy this. I have no doubt. But at one point, I'll be, you know what? I don't care. Yes, we torture women and children. Yes, I enjoy that. But you're gonna die. You're gonna suffer. They're like, nah, we're gonna free. We're freeing them. This woman have new videos about what's happening to her every other month or something like that. So I know this is gonna be a long life of just suffering for target vigil. And if they say they try to make me think now, but maybe another few years, and that's like another few trash. Yes. But it is so bad. You know, with me, like I said, everything is rewired certain ways. Yesterday, actually, they were trying to make me think because the way they've rewired my brain is so disgusting. You in the last part, you heard this man talk about how your brain is rewired and it's degrading, and they can manipulate you to experience everything that they want you to experience. For me, using the restroom and using this muscle that contracted, that can be used to contract, to push up urine faster, right? Men and women, we all do that. I can only speak about men because I'm of male gender, and so when you pee, you can contract, which I believe the urethra, to push out the pee even faster, or you can even hold on to from not peeing by doing the same contraction. But if you want to push and like have like a stronger, I'm sorry to be descriptive, but I'm going to describe the way they manipulate me. But if you want to push out that urine faster, you can like jets, like just pee, right? You got to push it out, or you can do that. With me, when I do that, because it's the same muscle used to push out semen. So when you're having sex or you're in sexual state, that same muscle push out semen. Now, because everything in my brain now is rewired in these pedophilia ways, anything that is related to sex or even something that is used in the same ways, like for sex, for example, is rewired in these pedophilia ways. They want to condition my brain in these pedophilia ways. So yesterday, they were doing these things toward this black little girl. It was nasty, but I was drinking a lot of water, so my bladder was also full. I go to use the restroom, and I'm like, you guys are disgusting. You know, you think this is what will make me do, and then like will make me experience that I will experience this, and then I pee, and I'm pushing out the pee faster. You see, oh, you gonna pay, or something like that. I'm like, like, you know, and somebody comes out like, now this is not a war. You're just a retard for these pedos. You know, no, every day now, normally when I pee, I usually pee and I push the pee faster to try to get done with peeing fast. Now this is rewired, and they try to use, you see, pay. It's like trash. So while I'm literally peeing, this trash live life like this. Now I understand they're supposed to push me into eternity, but these people do. That means that they have to live this life. They are not at war, right? Even though what they're part of is killing, torturing, tormenting men, women, and children. We're just test subjects. The way they are attacking our bodies is what they're supposed to be doing. But they're doing that using this weapon system. This weapon system, which one is considering the 21st century weapon system. You're going to hear that. I understand that I'm a test subject. I understand that this low life there, I'm just contracted to break you down. They're part of this whole program to break down the target individual, because this is a cognitive and also physiological type of like development of this weapon, right? The weapon attacks the body and the brain. For me, for example, speaking right now is becoming a challenge. It's because they're degrading my brain, but they're also degrading my body. And they contract this trash. They are subcontracted of some level, right? I'm sure there's a buffer between who's really in charge and these bottom feeders. And I call them bottom feeders because there's some top level people in charge, and there's this bottom feeders implementing. As much as they try to make themselves grander than this was, like, yeah, it's our money, and it's like, no, it's this governmental program that is utilizing me as a test subject, contracting you as a fucking bottom feeder to implement these things. They do that to women and children. Some of these perps, these bottom feeders, have done that to women and children. And you hear these childlike trash that they contracted. You know, these people don't need to be mentally strong. They don't need the cowardness is purely welcome in this, because this is a weapon system that can attack your body and your mind remotely. It's like comparable to like there's somebody that use drones. Do they need to be brave? They don't, right? Now imagine that even in a more simplistic way, even more cowardly than that. So anybody, and the more childish like, the better, because now they themselves make themselves believe, now we are we're warriors when they're in their pajamas. Can you imagine the people like this just come out of their apartment and they come in their office? I see them in sweaters and just comfortably. It's like, this is war. It's at war. I took a picture of them. It's like, this is the people that talk about being at war. These are the people living next to you in their pajamas, in their comfortable, like, we are war, this is war. This is not war, right? I'm like, you trash. Obviously, I know what this is. And yes, you can dress in whatever ways, because at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do as a guinea pig, as a test subject, just like Catherine and her young child. There's really little we can do. It's like an open air lab, and we're just the guinea pigs. Now, for me, it's important to be strong and understanding that this is the way they're breaking me down psychologically. It's disgusting. Every time I see children, they disturb me. Today, for example, and I always show what they do to me. I saw a couple kids. They did the same nasty manipulation. Actually, here you can barely see the kids. You see all the way there. There's like a kid somewhere there, like a little girl. Barely see it. But no, you can notice that it's a little girl because you see some baby with like a dress or something like that. Barely can see it. You can just see her little arm. You can see like some dress there. They try to even make me look at this kid in this disturbing way. It's so nasty. It's crazy. Or there was this, I don't know, these kids here. This every time I'm on YouTube, it's anything. If there's children, this child here, everywhere there's children, here, stimulation nonstop. At one point it was like, ugh, I'm not even gonna go into the next. There's one kid, and maybe I should try to look it up, that was doing a pull-up, and what they try to make me, oh, let me see if I can do it, and they're gonna stimulate me. Oh, this child here, this baby there, oh. And every time they try to give me some stimulation. Oh my gosh, this kid over there that's doing a pull-up, they'll try to make me look at this girl's private parts. Even now they're still trying. I don't know if you can see it. They can control your eyesight and make you see what they want you to see. If they want you to look at something, they've done it so many times in ways to just letting me know that they're controlling me to that level. They will tell me how I'm going to be wasting. You'll waste. You'll be wasting. Like wasting away. And as soon as they say that, or they make me think that way, I look directly down and there's a garbage bin and there's a title called waste. I'm like, Jesus. You know, that's the kind of control they have over us. So for me, what they do these tactics to create some degrading tactics. So I'm not perfect. I've looked at women in sexual ways, but they try to do that toward these babies. This little kid, this kid is trying to do a pull-up. I can feel my eyes try to go to the private part or just zoom in into the private part. I don't know how the level of control. So I have to like literally move away. And they'll try to do that toward this kid. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've looked at women in these certain ways, in that ways. But they try to do that. Sometimes what they do is they try to make me have that experience to women, so they can be like, oh, we match. It's like, no, even that is falsified. I have on my own, of course, looked at women in that sexual way. I'm not perfect. But now, it disturbs me because they have rewired me to experience, to do this, to manipulate my eyes to look at kids in that fashion, which has disturbed me even how I look at women now. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how they do that when they do that toward these babies. It's degrading. This kid was just trying to do a pull-up. I hope this picture you could see it. Try to make me look at this kid's private parts. I don't even know if it's even feasible, but that's not the first time. And that's the things they do. Because this is a very degrading, pedophilia-centric type of breaking down the mind. Now, like I said, this is a weapon system. What it means by that is this is supposed to break you down. This technology is not here to figure who you are. It's supposed to break you down. They figure how they can break you down and the tactics that's going to break you down. They analyze how they can manipulate you better in a way that's going to be degrading for you to be broken down, right? For example, they know that I've looked at women in this sexual way, so let's do that toward their children. That's going to break them down. And then when they do that, sometimes they force me to have this thing done to women, because hey, you've done that to women. But I realize I feel like they're doing that. They're forcing my eyes. Like, no, you're forcing me to do that so you can make it look like this is natural. They have these ways of just trickeries and manipulations. It's so nasty, but at the end of the day, it makes sense. The purpose of what's happening to us is because they're developing this weapon system. This is how they attack the mind. It is degrading. It's supposed to break you down and wanting to kill yourself, like that man said in part 1. Walk you through your death, which includes suicide. And it is a weapon system, as this man says here.
The resonant frequencies for each vital organ, so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause them to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level. Not with bullets and bombs. It's a perfect Republican weapon. No offense to Republicans here, but you don't want to destroy the property. You have to rebuild it afterwards. This is a weapon systems of the 21st century.
This is the weapon system of the 20th century. And this is about control. They can control you. And they make you experience disgusting things. And this man described this.
My name is Dr. John Hall. I'm a medical doctor from Texas. As I understand the memorandum from the President, it's for you to determine if current legislation is adequate in protecting individuals and if there's any ongoing experimentation. In reviewing the common rule, it's very obvious that there's a lot of loopholes to informed consent. All of the horrific experiments you've mentioned, Willowbrook, MK-Ultra, radiation experiments, mostly were done without informed consent. They were funded by the DoD and intelligence agencies, where I'm not even so sure you would know if there's an IRB, much less if an IRB is looking at informed consent. As a physician, relative to some of what you're hearing today, in the community, we are seeing an alarming rate of complaints of use of electromagnetic weapons. Microwave auditory effects, silent sound spectrum, EEG cloning, which has taken the lab out of the laboratory and into the home. Most of these, from the research that we reviewed, can be done remotely. It seems to be more weapons research than medical research. I personally corresponded with upwards of 1,500 victims, all complaining of identical complaints from every state in the nation of being exposed to electromagnetic radiation, non-ionizing radiation for the use of cognitive control or behavior control. I submitted a paper.
Cognitive control and behavior control. That's what they do. This is what they do. This is the things they manipulate you to experience, and they have these degrading tactics of pedophilia-centric ways of manipulation. Matter of fact, talking about this manipulation of making you look at what they want you to look at.
Torture. They coordinate the voices and thought manipulation with the physical torture, so that everything is highly synchronized in real time. They can see everything in my environment before I can, and if something is hidden out of my sight, they can tell me where it is, if they want me to see it. Likewise, they can also make me not see something that is right in front of my face.
With me, they don't tell me. They make me see whatever they want me to see. They control my eyesight. They control what if they don't want to make it can be there, I'm not going to see it if they don't want me to see it. I'm controlled to that level, and I understand. And they're definitely showing off to show how much control they can have. Maybe not all of it, but they show me like one day I remember I was just looking at something and started zooming in. You know how they can focus more. I was like looking at something and he was zooming in and out. I was like, Jesus. That's how much control they have. They can make you zoom in on the specific thing. Like, you know how your eyesight can just focus on something? Focusing deep, like further in. And then And like, now you're a con man. They do all this manipulation. They control you. These men, as it said here, and let me just bring up again. This man here,
and once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brain. There's language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't believe that. Well, you can't control me. I have my own free will. There's no way you can get to my soul. Well, sorry, that's not true.
And I've accepted reality. I'm not deluded. And they made it very clear on their own. And you know, they have this purpose. Once they do the things they do, and they're like, no, that's not true. I'm like, you clown. They use this trash. They call it being at war. They have no shame, no self-respect. And I put that in their faces every day. They have to eat that reality every day. But then it comes to, why do they do these things in these disgusting ways? It's simple. It's a weapon system. So cognitively, they're doing this manipulation. Obviously, physically, they destroy my organs. Like they say that I'm rotting away because they destroy my organs. Slowly, though. Because they're hitting my organs using these weapon systems. And slowly degrading my body. But psychologically breaking me down too. Obviously degrading my brains directly, but also my thought process. Rewiring my brain. Controlling my brain in these degrading ways. Try to make me look at what, and I literally have to move away. Now I'm so traumatized by it that when it comes to women, I no longer can be able to look at women in a sexual way that I could look at them in the past, because it's going to bring me back to how they've done that to me toward these babies. It's so nasty. Okay. But this tactics of pedophilia tormenting is not unique to me. This woman who talks about how they can make her not see what they don't want her to see, or see what they want her to see, speaks about it.
It's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation, so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my...
The pedophilia type of torture. That's what they can do. And that's what they do. They do these things to degrade you in these pedophilia ways, and it's done systematically. It's not unique to me. It's not unique to Mariana.
It's dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of him. Like this disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind.
So the irony that these entities filled with pedophiles and child porn utilize this method to break you down, while they're actually working this trash, just the bottom feeders for governmental entities filled with pedos. It's just magical. And I love the fact they say it's not fair. It's like, you guys are here altering the mind these ways, manipulating the brain these ways. They try to make somebody accept you of this manipulation that you've done to others in these pedophilia ways.
This is a complete breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Almost all target individuals are forced to see child pornography in their minds. It's just not me. They're forcing that to a lot of target individuals, almost all of them. This is based on 1,000 target individual. 1,000. Almost all of them. That's a strong number. That's a strong sample size. Trash us. And for me, they use this like fiercest, like they try to play this femme fatale feminism as just a bunch of low-life bottom-feeds working for pedophiles. And yes, this man said it here, how they can manipulate your behavior, make you experience things that they can make you experience.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions.
You understand? I understand what they've done to me is they're going to do the most degrading things. That's why I'm scared to look at children, because I don't know what I'm going to be forced to experience. But it's going to be degrading. This is a tactic they utilize. And let me just say, these tactics of utilizing pedophilia type of torture, this woman is saying, it's coming from governmental entities that have issue with pedophilia. Just in case you have doubt that the Department of Defense has been working on technology that can alter the mind. Listen to this.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. Human mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior.
And then they contract this trash around you that's supposed to make you feel doubtful and like make you feel guilty of how they manipulate you, and they have these clowns. They're looking at their phones and they come in all shape. The reason why I use them is because they're the ideal people around me. They're the everyday perps. It's like, no, it's not real, it's you. This childlike trash working for government. And I'm supposed to think it's their money, right? Instead of the Department of Defense that have been working on how to alter the mind since the 60s. Oh yes, the Department of Defense with this ongoing issue.
He has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material that takes
to access ICE.
Is it or the things that they're dealing with on their computers?
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step into an office, whether...
That's what's happening. These entities have issued child pornography and manipulate the brain in these degrading ways. And it's happening to men and women and children all around the world. For me, it's funny how they try to change reality, that this is immigration. The women that you heard talking were coming from what country? They were American citizens dealing with this. Matter of fact, I remember when I thought it was maybe the immigration, so I deported myself. I went to this. It's a joke. Because no, you're doomed. Don't worry. Do whatever you want. It's going to follow you anywhere. It's not that. They're just trash bottom feeders contracted by these governmental entities to implement these tactics. And wherever I go in the world, it's going to follow me. There's American women who become refugees and go to countries like New Zealand. Listen to this African woman.
Doing people like that. But it is what it is. The only thing you can do is stay strong and focus on the people you love. You know, I was lucky enough to have my mother who was going through the same thing that I was going through. They started saying all kind of crazy stuff to her jobs, and
and I am a victim of organized stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, B2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture, and I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment. And I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the US, in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
We've become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand.
I think I was even given the citizenship because I was a target individual. And I remember, when I was getting my interview, I think it was in 2016 or 17, the guy interviewing me was talking with my lawyers, and they're kind of talking in certain ways, like as if they're talking about me, not in a way that's, professional. As if like, he's a target individual or something like that. And guess what? They gave me the citizenship because what? They need human subjects. And as you can see, this American woman became a refugee going to New Zealand. Unfortunately, he followed her there because he will follow you everywhere. So I know what this trash do, and I know what this is about, and I will never let them live their fantasy. Target individuals do not identify with any of this manipulation, and don't let this trash live their fantasy. They contract this trash, these retards. In this program led by this Department of Defense agencies, and they're looking for men and women to continuously develop this weapon system that attack the mind and the body. I realized what was happening to me in 2020, and ever since then, everything makes sense. I was writing letters about what was happening to my brain to newscasts and newspapers, thinking, oh, this needs to be told, not knowing that thousands of target individuals have been already testifying. To all my target individuals, stay strong.